What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your friendly neighborhood reptile here, back again, also known as Larry from the Shizzle Network here. Back again. I'm actually going to do some more Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I feel like I should do this because I haven't done one in a while. I haven't done any videos on this game in a while, as a matter of fact. I'm basically going to be doing a guide discussing some of the general stuff with Goku. Now the thing is that this doesn't apply to basic things such as like a basic like string of attacks, because you can literally like do that. That's a universal thing across the game and stuff. So yeah, we're not gonna focus on that because that is a basic string that applies to any characters. Although there is a specific way to do combos and stuff of that nature. I will talk about that in like a separate video. In the future, I might even discuss some of the tactics that you can use, because even though there are some characters in this game that do play slightly differently as far as general gameplay goes, like the basic fundamentals, they're all the same. But there is a specific way to play with some of these characters, not by a long shot, but just enough to know how to like how to do combos with them. You know what I mean? But for this one, we're gonna talk about just the general strategies with Goku, because Goku can be a very, very good character to use if you know how to use them in this game. We're gonna talk about the Kaioken, which is this move right here. Which, in order to do this move, if you're playing the PlayStation 2 version of the game, that would be left trigger. Plus circle, plus up. This move is very, very crucial to learning how to play with Goku, and the biggest reason for that is because each time you use Kaioken, it basically powers him up by 1+ stats. So you see how like you see the attacks and the keys and the defense and the keys are all up and stuff. Like that's the key to learning how to play with early Goku. The thing is that only early Goku can pull this off. So what I'll do is that I'll do this real quick. Now the thing about the Kaioken is that you can charge it up to 4 times. If you try to do it a 5th time, the only thing that's going to happen is that your key energy will come back, but you're not going to get any additional stats right after that. So right now I'm just going to fire a few barrages. Now you might be wondering, why exactly am I doing this? That's because doing so will actually cause the... Do you see the blue W bars that are growing? It actually makes it, deflecting the keys will actually make your W bar go up a lot quicker. So that's why. So right now we're at Kaioken ×2. Now we're going to power up to ×3. Now I will show you exactly what happens. Now most general attacks will give you like, what, 1,000, maybe 1,000 damage at the most and stuff. But each time you power it up, your attack grows higher. I will actually showcase this some more when I get the chance. But let me just show you what happens when I attack him. Right now, we're at the standard attack 1, since we're using original Goku. But he should be powered up by 3 times. Alright, so we got 2,000, what is that, 2,600. Now let's power up one more time. Look at that. Now it's up to damn near 3,000. And that's awesome. That's awesome. Now watch what happens. See how I'm charging up a 5th time? This is the 5th time I'm charging up. See how it doesn't do anything? It literally, as I say, you can only charge it up to 4 times. That's no exaggeration. If you charge it up a 5th time, your key will just go back up. And one of the main things about Kaioken is that your key will drain when you use it. So key is basically very useless in this mode. What I highly recommend you do while in Kaioken is focus on your string of attacks. Just focus on using melee attacks instead of using supers. I mean, you could hypothetically use supers, but if you were to do that and you don't have at least 3 bars to do another Kaioken, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to lose all of it, and then you're going to go right back to normal. So that's what happens. So now we're back to normal. Now look at what happens when I attack Vegeta again. see how his attack is only 1800. So you can literally see that if I charge up Kaioken up to 4 times, it's going to give him 1,000 plus more damage, i.e. plus 4 for literally all the stats. There's also some additional things that I do want to bring up about Goku, is that if you have an attack item, it like say for example, I give Goku attack plus 3. Which is one of the customized items that you can give to them. This would mean that if I were to use Kaioken and then charge it up to 4 times, he would have a value of 7+, which would make him a very OP character. He'll get up to like 1,000, like literally 3,000 to 4,000 damage just from this one basic string right here. Like he would literally get up to like 5,000, which would make him a very, very OP character. So using Kaioken is a very, very useful tool. It's just if you wish to use it, you just gotta make sure that you use your ki very, very carefully. I highly suggest staying away from using supers, as that can literally just drain your energy in just a few seconds flat. So I highly recommend you stay away from that. What I recommend you do is that when you power up into Kaioken like this, just focus on doing melee attacks or using a combo or whatever. Use anything to your advantage, like that. That's what I highly recommend you do. Utilize the melee attacks, as this can get you a good lead in the fight, and it'll save you a lot of energy. Alright, so now we're going to talk about Mid Goku. This one's actually very, very interesting. You might be wondering, what does Mid Goku have over the other iterations of Goku that exist? Well, early Goku has the Kaioken, and Mid Goku has the I'm getting excited Blast 1 maneuver. First and foremost, I'm getting excited basically has the same... It has the same rules as similar to the Kaioken. The only difference though is that instead of draining energy, he can actually charge up a lot more effectively, and you don't have to worry about losing energy when you're using I'm getting excited. If anything, it only powers up Goku with 1+ stats for I think 10 to 15 seconds. I might be wrong. But that's literally what it does. It basically powers him up, but it only lasts for about 10-15 seconds or so. And then afterwards, it goes out. But the same general rules for the Kaioken kind of apply here, although not as powerful, because I believe you can only activate the I'm getting excited, maybe, I'd say, I think about 4 times. Probably the same thing as the Kaioken, I believe. But I might be wrong, so make sure you guys correct me in the comments. But I do believe that it works the same way as the Kaioken. Not as powerful, but it still does the job quite well. Here's the one that a lot of people are gonna know. Goku has a Blast 1, which is where he shares which is where he acquires energy from the planet, and this would be that move. Now you might be wondering, what is the purpose of that move? It didn't really power up Goku from a basic attack point of view, right? Because you can clearly see his attack damage is still pretty basic. It's still the same. But what the Give Me Energy Blast does is that it powers up his Spirit Bomb. So you know how in the show when he battled Frieza, he was acquiring energy, and his Spirit Bomb was so large it was almost as big as the planet. So if you were to use Mid Goku without using the Give Me Energy, and you still do the Spirit Bomb will still do some damage, but first and foremost, it won't be as big, and it won't do as much energy. It won't do as much damage. So that's where Give Me Energy comes from. You can only use this. About, I think, 3 times. Yeah, you can only use Give Me Energy 3 times. And if you want, like I said, if you want to make this attack very OP, you have to use I'm getting excited, I'd say 4 times at the highest, I believe. So let's try to power this up here.
You're not getting away with it. Here it comes. Go! We have a winner.
While that wasn't 99 damage, it does do a whole lot of damage. Now here's the last Goku strategy. This one is probably the most important. If the Kaioken is the best offensive power-up in the game, then instant transmission has to be the best overall defensive technique in the whole game. And you might be wondering, why exactly is that? Why exactly is that? Well, first and foremost, it works exactly how it does in the show, right? It from any part of the map, literally from any part of the map, you can literally teleport right behind your opponent. And what happens is that they lose their lock on you, so they have to lock on you again if they're going to attack you. So this would basically make instant transmission a very, very useful technique. There's actually a lot of things to love about this move. Like I said, as long as you have at least 2 W bars filled up, you can use it at any time and any place on a level. It doesn't matter where it is. You can always use it and then teleport behind your opponent. So this is a very, very OP defensive move. While there are some cons, we'll get to that when we get to that. It can counter any long-range attack, mid-range, or close range. Now, actually, to be fair, close range is actually one of its weaknesses. It only depends on how it's used in close range, but I will explain how instant transmission works in close range in a little bit. So, like I said, it can counter literally any move. It doesn't really matter if it's a long-range attack or whatever. It will counter it. So, Exhibit A, check this out. See, you can literally counter that. You can literally counter any long-range attack, whether it be like a projectile, anything. You can literally do that. And the only thing is, though, is that you have to time it very, very well. But as long as you do, you can pretty much like use it at your disposal and do any kind of like punishing combos on them. And another thing about us, aside from long range attacks like that, like the Kamehameha for example and stuff, rushes are also very weak to this move, and I am about to show you exactly what I mean. So what I'm gonna do real quick is that I'm gonna charge up Kid Buu for a second, and we're gonna launch his rush. And there we go. See, he easily missed that. So it's all about precision and timing. That's what it's all about in order to use the instant transmission. There's also other things about this move that I also love. Is that even if it may seem like it's defensive, it does have an offensive role to it. And I'm going to give you an example. So say you have to use the correct attack. And I'll give you one good example. Goku's throw. You can basically use Goku's throw and use the instant transmission to extend a combo that normally in the game would be impossible to extend. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to show you a good example of what I'm talking about. So here we go. See, you can easily extend that combo with a string of attacks like that. So that's exactly what I mean when I say you can extend combos with the instant transmission that normally couldn't even be achieved. That's what makes this move so awesome, and that's why I love it. That you can extend combos. Now in close range, as I said before, let's talk about the close range. It isn't useless. While it can be countered, there are some good things about the instant transmission in close range combat. And I'm about to show you exactly what I mean. So first we're going to have Kid Buu show up right in front of us. And I'm going to explain to you how it can be used in close range. So, one of the few things you should know is this. one of the cons that I should bring up right now is that in close range it can be dangerous, and the reason for that being is because the startup frames there's a slight delay between the frames of activating instant transmission, because there's a frame where Goku takes his time before he teleports, and there you go. It's only like what, about 1 second or so, like about a millisecond or so, but yeah, there's a delay there. But with that being said, there is a way to use it in close range. And let's say an opponent does like a charge attack, right? So if he does that, but it still works, as you can see. But again, it's all about how you time it. Don't you know how, like, in the game when you activate like blast 2 moves, certain blast 2 moves or ultimates or whatever, it'll do like a little backflip animation? Because when they do these moves, this essentially makes them open to any kind of like punishing move or whatever, whether it be the default string or even, God forbid, the instant transmission. So when let's say Kid Buu does it, and then I use the instant transmission. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that to disconnect. That was my fault. Anyways, so let's say, for instance, Kid Buu does his blast 2, which would be the super Kamehameha, right? So I can literally teleport right behind him, just like that. All because the backflip animations give me a lot of time to activate the instant transmission. And this also means that the same thing can happen for ultimates. So Goku can easily counter the startup frames of ultimates or blast 2 moves, specifically because of the backflip animations. And also, about blast 1 moves, like, I'm going to give you a good example of a blast 1 move. Kid Buu actually has one in particular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way to the other side of the map just to show you exactly how instant transmission can really work. So let's say he's all the way back here, right? Let's say he's all the way back here. And like I said, it doesn't matter where he is, right? So in order for him to use his blast 1 is sleep. And what this move does is that it basically regenerates Kid Buu. I can literally do it from far away and then punish him with it. Just like that. So it doesn't matter where he is or how he's covered. And you saw how he was against the invisible wall, right? It doesn't matter where he is. Goku will always teleport right behind, and then this would leave them open to these attacks, because again, he's in the middle of the frames of the blast 1. However, as I said before, there are some cons to this move. I already brought up earlier that one of the few cons is that the startup frames of the instant transmission are quite a bit slow, because there is a slight delay between activating the move and stuff. So this would mean that the defender, in this case Kid Buu, can use a standard attack string to punish it. So like say I tried to activate, you know, instant transmission, right? So like say I activate that. See, if they do like the standard string, Goku cannot do the transmission. And to top it all off, if he uses it during that move while he's trying to activate the move, his W bars are going to go to waste. So one of the key ways of fighting Goku is that if you're fighting any Goku player, I'm not sure if anybody will want to do that since the game doesn't play online, but you can use Parsec nowadays. So there's probably bound to be some good Goku players if you ever want to do that one day. So the key to really fighting Goku, especially N Goku, which is who we're using, you want to avoid long range combat, because in long range and mid range, any Goku player can easily use the instant transmission, like whether if you're far or not, because like I said, no matter where you are on the map, instant transmission will work. So the key to really beating instant transmission is to stay in close combat. If you stay in close combat and keep these string of attacks on him, it makes it difficult for players to try and use the instant transmission. It makes it extremely difficult for them to try to activate the move. While there are some instances where they can try it, if you keep on with these strings, if you keep on with the string of attacks, Goku cannot use the instant transmission. Like, they can keep trying they can keep trying to input the command for it, but it will never come out only as long as you stay on them like that. Keep the combo going. Keep pressuring them in any way you can. And I guarantee you, Goku will be a piece of crap. But as far as combos go, that's going to be a whole in-depth guide that I want to talk about. This can be a universal tactic between most characters, but what I will try to do is that I might divide it into separate parts. Like, I'm probably going to explain how to combo with the Saiyans and stuff like that, because like I said, usually the same universal strategy works across most of the characters when it comes to combos and stuff like that. It's the same general rule. It's just that there's a certain way of comboing them, because there are certain characters in here that do play slightly differently, and I'll give you an example. The Dragon Ball characters, and one of the biggest reasons for that is because they don't have the similar abilities that Saiyan does, which makes sense. So they obviously play a lot differently than your average character. Some of them, can't even teleport at all. Actually, no, that's a lie. Almost all the characters can teleport in there, even if they never did that in the show. But again, it all goes back to the fact that it's a universal gameplay mechanic across most of the characters. But as far as doing combos go, it's very, very difficult to explain, because like I said, it all goes back to Tenkaichi 3 having a very, very complicated control scheme. But as I said before, I will explain how you I will explain in the future exactly how you do it. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide video. I hope it was at least somewhat informative. I tried to be as informative as possible. If there are some things that I missed out in this video or guide or whatever that you want to correct me on, please let me know.
Born as a good guy, I'll be waiting for a one-on-one match.